recently I've been thinking more and more about the people that I haven't seen in a while and that I'm about to see now that lockdown's over. What I've noticed is that I've been thinking less and less about the people that I see almost every day, like my parents. And in thinking that, I also noticed that I've never really thought about what I actually do to show them that I love them. We lean on our parents and guardians so heavily as young people, particularly as we find our feet in society. And then even as young adults, we chat to our parents and soundboard things that we're going through. We think of our parents as these strong figures that don't need our help or our support because they've probably been through it all before. But I'm starting to wonder how much of that is actually true. Our relationship with our parents and guardians is one typically of dependence. And for as long as we can remember, we relied on them to feed us, dress us, take us to school, church, over to our mates' houses. We basically did nothing for them, but they did everything for us. And I think if we're not careful, or if we don't stop and think about it, we end up staying in this cycle, this relationship where they give, we take, and then we almost expect it from them. Now, the thing is, our parents and guardians don't give us things and support us because we expect them to. They actually do it out of love. And for the most part, expect nothing or very little from us at all. But at what point do we stop and think, now, how do I show my parents and guardians that I love them, that I care about what they need? I think the last time I did it was when I was trying to figure out what to buy for Mother's or Father's Day. And it's just crazy that I think that in response to everything that they've done, buying a gift every now and again throughout the year would actually really show them how much I appreciate and love them for what they do. Don't get me wrong, I actually think it's a great start, but I think there are some practical ways that we can show our parents and guardians that we love them and care for them, and we don't have to wait for the next birthday or Christmas or major event to do it. In fact, the Bible actually instructs us on how we treat our parents, and you'll find this peppered throughout the Bible, but I thought I might just start with a verse straight out of the 10 Commandments. And the 10 Commandments, you might remember, is a set of rules, if you will, that God gave us to keep us from sinning. And don't worry, these aren't commandments that were applicable just at the time they were written. They definitely transcend through the ages and still very relevant today. So from Exodus chapter 20, verse 12, it says, "Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you." I wanted to validate how people feel loved and cared for, so I did a bit of research. And there were many ways that we can show our parents that we love them. But across the board, the thing that kept coming up is that people know that they are loved because the people that care about them communicate with them. And I think this starts off by recognizing that irrespective of our parents' and guardians' experience and age, they're still people and should be checked up on. So I think it's as simple as asking them how their day was and telling them about yours. I think we should tap into the fact that our parents and guardians have life experience. So listen to their stories, take on board their advice, and take a moment to unpack that with them. We're encouraged in the Bible to actually listen to our parents and guardians and not just listen to their advice, but really embrace it as well. So I'm just going to read from Proverbs chapter 1, verses 8 and 9. "Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They will be a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck." I think more often than not, we have a chat with our parents and guardians and they give us advice or tell us we can't do something. And our natural tendency is to disregard it if we can or try to fight it. And I know I'm guilty of saying stuff like, "Yeah, thanks, hear what you're saying. I understand that might have been applicable to you about 20 or 30 years when you were about my age, but things have changed now. So it doesn't really make sense to me." Or, "Yeah, got it, understand what you're saying, but you did grow up in another country and I'm here now, so the environment's different. And so again, understand what you're saying, but it's just not relevant to me now." Now, if you're anything like me and have said anything like that, I think it's fair to say that we probably haven't properly listened to our parents. Proverbs 1 verse 8 actually starts by saying listen. And that means actually pay attention to what is being said. Be open-minded and really consider what you're being told. It doesn't mean disregard your parents and guardians and justify why their advice is redundant or not applicable to you. It really means take it in. Think about what it means and how you can apply it in your life. It goes on to say, listen to your father's instructions and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Now, I just want to reiterate here that mother and father can be used interchangeably and applies to any parental figure in your life. But still in verse 8, it says, do not forsake your mother's teachings. To forsake something means to turn away from it. And the Bible clearly tells us not to abandon the advice we're given by our parental figures. So here the Bible is reiterating, it's not enough to just listen, but what we should really do is take it on board. Now in verse 9 it says, there will be a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. And this really brings it home for us. A garland is this wreath of flowers that is sometimes worn in cultures around the head. And we're told here to take on their advice, wear it with pride. We got to remember that we're called to be different. And so sometimes the advice we're given might seem a little bit outdated or weird, but there's probably some merit to it. So it's really important we consider our parental figures' advice. Now, when you go on this journey and open up this relationship of honest conversation with your parents and guardians, you'll get to know them a little bit more. They'll understand more about you and you about them. And you'll learn more about their past experience, see the value of their experience, and also you'll be able to realize more and more how special they are and how in need of your love they are. In addition to speaking with them more, you might actually be prompted to pray with them and pray for them. And I think this will actually strengthen your relationship with them, but also really show them how much you love them and how much you care. Because when we think about it, when we genuinely love and care for something and someone, we often do actually pray about it. What an intimate way of showing your parents and guardians that you actually love and care. So I want to encourage you to really show your parents and guardians that you love them. So when you do get a chance, put your phones down, step away from Netflix or your video games and just start a conversation with your parents. You won't get this time back. And I think your future self might actually really thank you for it. Thanks, guys.